Have you ever noticed how aging quietly shifts the way support shows up in our lives? In younger years, it feels almost natural to rely on family and friends. We imagine that no matter what, someone will always be there, to call, to lean on, to help carry the weight of life's struggles. But as the years pass, something changes. Children grow busy with their own responsibilities, siblings face their own health battles, and friends we once leaned on may drift away, move far, or even leave this world entirely. Suddenly, the strong circle we thought we could depend on starts to look thinner, and the silence of that realization can feel heavy. It's not an easy truth to accept, that the people we love most may not always be present in the way we once imagined. For many, it comes like a quiet ache, a question whispered late at night. Who's really here for me now? That question can feel frightening, even heartbreaking. But here's something important to remember. This is not the end of your story. Because support, the kind that never leaves, doesn't only come from family or friends. It can come from within you, from choices you make, from habits you build, and from values that guide you every day. This isn't about bitterness or disappointment. It's about wisdom. It's about learning to see life differently after 70, not as a chapter of loss, but as a chapter of strength. Because when you stop waiting for others to hold you up, you discover the quiet supports that never falter. These are the pillars that help you rise in the morning with steadiness, that calm your heart during lonely afternoons, and that remind you of your dignity when the world feels uncertain. In this journey, we're going to explore 5 powerful forms of support that too often go unnoticed until it feels too late. They don't disappoint, they don't drift away, and they don't leave you questioning your worth. Instead, they build you up from the inside out, helping you feel grounded, confident, and capable in your own life, no matter who comes or goes. So stay with me. What you're about to discover may just reshape how you see yourself, your independence, and the road ahead. 1. Physical mobility. When you think about strength in your later years, it's easy to picture muscles, exercise, or medical charts. But physical mobility is so much more than numbers or routines. It's the quiet assurance that you can still take care of yourself, that your body is a partner rather than a prison. At 70 and beyond, mobility becomes one of the purest forms of independence you can have. It doesn't just carry your body from room to room, it carries your spirit forward with dignity. Imagine waking up in the morning and being able to rise from bed on your own, to shuffle to the kitchen, make your favorite tea, or step outside and feel the morning air on your face, all without waiting for someone to arrive and lend a hand. These moments might feel ordinary, but they are extraordinary gifts. Each small action says, I am still in control of my life. That sense of control is the foundation of confidence. The truth is, losing mobility doesn't happen all at once, it creeps in quietly. A skipped walk here, a little stiffness there. Before long, the fear of falling or the thought of being too slow begins to shrink your world. Outings get canceled, invitations are turned down, and life starts to feel smaller. But here's the good news. Mobility can be protected, and in many cases, improved, even after 70. Your body responds to care. Each step, each stretch, each gentle movement tells your body, keep going. Take, for example, the story of Harold, a man nearing 80 who walks every morning in the park. He uses a cane, and his pace is unhurried, but his commitment is unshakable. He once said, "The moment I stop moving is the moment I start depending." His words remind us that it's not about perfect mobility, it's about maintaining what's yours for as long as you can. Mobility also eases the hidden emotional burdens of aging. When you can move freely, you carry less fear of being a burden. You feel lighter, safer, and more hopeful. It reassures you that life is still yours to shape. So if you find yourself stiff or hesitant, don't despair. Start with the smallest steps, gentle stretches, a slow lap around the hallway, standing tall as you breathe deeply. Every movement, however small, is an investment in freedom. And with each effort, you're building a foundation that will quietly support you today, tomorrow, and far beyond. 2. Financial simplicity. Peace of mind in your 70s doesn't come from the size of your bank account, it comes from the clarity of knowing where you stand. Financial simplicity isn't about wealth, it's about reducing the noise, clearing away the clutter, and creating a system you can manage with ease. Because as the years go by, confusion about money doesn't just cause stress, it chips away at your sense of security. And security, more than luxury, is what allows you to breathe freely. Think about how heavy it feels to juggle stacks of bills, multiple credit cards, or endless subscriptions you no longer use. Each envelope or email becomes another worry. That kind of financial complexity is like carrying extra weight on your shoulders. But when you choose to simplify, when you trim down accounts, cancel the unnecessary, and create a clear picture of what comes in and what goes out, you give yourself a gift far greater than dollars. You give yourself calm. Take Lorraine, a 74-year-old widow who once felt overwhelmed every time she opened her mailbox. After working with a counselor, she downsized her home, kept only one card, and cut away the extras she didn't need. She told me, "I used to dread checking the mail. Now I do it with a clear head and a steady heart." Her financial life didn't become richer, but it became lighter, and that lightness gave her freedom. There's also an important psychological shift that happens when your finances are simple. You stop lying awake at night running through what-ifs. You stop worrying about every little expense. Instead, you begin to trust yourself. You know what's covered, you know what's manageable, and you know that your life fits within the means you've chosen. That confidence is worth more than any number in an account. And here's something beautiful. Financial simplicity reduces dependency. When your money is easy to manage, you don't need to ask for help nearly as often. You don't have to hand over your statements to a child or wait for someone else to explain fine print. You are in charge. That quiet independence is empowering. So if your financial world feels complicated right now, start small. Write things down. Cancel what no longer serves you. Keep only what's essential. Let your money become simple enough that it brings peace instead of pressure. Because true financial support isn't measured by how much you have, it's measured by how confidently you can live with what you do. 3. Consistent health routine. In later years, the strength of your health often comes not from one big decision, but from the quiet, repeated choices you make every single day. A consistent health routine is like a rhythm that carries you forward, steadying you through both the ordinary and the unexpected. It's not about chasing perfection or following complicated regimens. It's about creating small habits that protect your body and give your mind a sense of stability. So much of aging well comes down to consistency. Taking your medications on time, drinking enough water, moving your body in ways that feel safe, and eating foods that nourish rather than drain you. On their own, these habits may feel small, but together they create a framework of care that keeps you steady. Each action says, "I matter enough to take care of myself." That message, repeated daily, builds confidence that no one else can give you. What makes routine so powerful is how it reduces uncertainty. When your body and mind know what to expect, you spend less time worrying and more time living. There's no inner debate about whether you'll go for a walk or whether you'll remember your pills. The path is already set. That predictability becomes a comfort, especially when life around you feels unpredictable. Frank, an 81-year-old former electrician, shared his own ritual with me once. Every morning, before the sun rises, he brews green tea, stretches for 15 minutes, and then takes a slow walk around his block. He said, "It's not about exercise. It's about reminding myself every day that I still have purpose." His health routine isn't flashy, but it anchors him. On tough days, it gives him something solid to lean on. The beauty of a routine is that it doesn't demand perfection. There will be days when energy is low, when joints ache, when the weather keeps you inside. That's okay. A few stretches in a chair, a deep breathing exercise, or even drinking an extra glass of water can still keep the rhythm alive. What matters most is not how much you do. It's that you keep showing up for yourself. A consistent health routine is more than maintenance. It's self-respect. It's a quiet declaration that even as the years advance, you are still capable, still valuable, and still worthy of care. And with each small action, you build a safety net that supports you, not just in body, but in spirit. 4. Emotional resilience. As the years pass, one of the greatest strengths you can carry isn't physical or financial, it's emotional. Emotional resilience is the quiet armor that helps you face the losses, the changes, and the disappointments that life inevitably brings with time. It's not about pretending everything is fine or denying sadness. It's about knowing you can feel deeply, even hurt deeply, and still find your way forward without being broken by it. Life after 70 is often filled with moments of reflection. For some, it means grieving the loss of a spouse or close friends. For others, it's the quiet sting of realizing children or loved ones aren't as present as before. These moments can leave the heart feeling hollow, but resilience allows you to sit with those feelings without being swallowed by them. It teaches you that sorrow can be part of life without becoming the whole of life. Take Eileen, a 77-year-old who lost her husband years ago. She told me she lights a candle every night. Some evenings she cries. Other evenings, she simply sits in silence. But to her, that candle is a reminder, I'm still here. I made it through another day. That simple ritual doesn't erase her pain, but it keeps her grounded. It shows how resilience can grow from the smallest acts of self-kindness. What makes emotional resilience so valuable is the freedom it gives. When you're steady inside, you're not as shaken by what others do or don't do. You can weather a missed phone call, an unexpected setback, or the loneliness of a quiet afternoon without losing your sense of self. Your emotions become less like waves that knock you down and more like tides you know how to ride. Building resilience isn't about grand gestures. It's about allowing yourself to acknowledge feelings honestly, then gently reminding yourself of your own strength. It might mean keeping a journal, walking in nature, praying, meditating, or simply pausing to breathe when the heart feels heavy. Over time, these practices train your mind to soften its response to pain and give your spirit room to heal. When you nurture emotional resilience, you create a well of inner strength that no one can take from you. Family may come and go, health may shift, but with resilience, you remain rooted, clear-eyed, steady, and quietly powerful. It's one of the truest forms of support you'll ever have because it lives within you. 5. Personal code of values. As the outer world shifts and familiar roles fade, what holds you steady is not always the people around you. It's the principles you carry within. A personal code of values becomes like a compass in later life, pointing you toward clarity when everything else feels uncertain. It's not about what others expect of you, but about what you quietly decide matters most. Many people spend decades defined by their roles: parent, spouse, worker, caregiver. But when those roles change or disappear, there can be an unsettling sense of, who am I now? A personal code answers that question. It reminds you that you are not only the roles you played, you are also the choices you make and the standards you live by. Values don't need to be complicated. They can be as simple as honesty, kindness, or self-respect. What makes them powerful is their consistency. When you know your values, decisions become lighter. Instead of wrestling with uncertainty, you ask yourself, does this align with who I am? And the answer, more often than not, becomes clear. I once met Howard, an older gentleman who shared that he lived by 5 simple rules. Always tell the truth, never waste food, return what you borrow, forgive quickly, and sleep with a clear conscience. He didn't present them as life-changing, yet the peace on his face told a deeper story. His code gave him dignity, and it gave him calm. Psychologically, values act like anchors. They ground you when life feels stormy. When someone lets you down, when plans change, or when the future feels uncertain, your code keeps you rooted. You don't drift with every opinion or crumble with every disappointment. You stand on ground that belongs solely to you. Perhaps the most comforting part is this: your values are yours alone. They don't need approval, explanation, or agreement from anyone else. They are a gift you give yourself, a quiet promise to live in alignment with what feels true in your heart. And when you can look back at your days and know you lived with integrity, kindness, or whatever principles you chose, that is its own kind of success. It's a success no one can take away. Your personal code becomes a lifelong companion, steady, faithful, and deeply reassuring. Reaching the later chapters of life often brings a kind of quiet reflection. You look around and notice that the faces and voices that once filled your days may no longer be as present. Some have moved on to their own busy worlds, others are no longer here, and the familiar rhythm of family gatherings or friendships has changed. At first, this can feel like an emptiness, but with time, you begin to see something else, that the strongest forms of support are often not outside of you at all, but within. The truth is, aging is not only about what you lose, it's also about what you discover, your resilience, your clarity, your ability to find meaning in simplicity. The 5 forms of support we've walked through: mobility, financial simplicity, health routines, emotional resilience, and a personal code of values are not just practices, they're companions. They walk with you day after day, providing stability in ways that don't fade or disappoint. When you rely on these inner supports, you shift from feeling fragile to feeling grounded. You realize that even if the world grows quieter, you are not left powerless. Your legs can still carry you, your mind can still find peace, and your heart can still draw strength from rituals and values that are uniquely yours. There's a deep kind of freedom in knowing that your well-being doesn't hinge entirely on others. This isn't to say relationships don't matter, they always do. But when you build a strong foundation inside yourself, every connection you have becomes sweeter, lighter, less burdened by expectation. You're able to enjoy people for who they are, not for what you need them to provide. That shift is liberating. So, as you reflect on your own life, perhaps ask yourself, which of these supports already gives me strength? And where could I gently begin to add more? You don't need to do everything at once. Even the smallest step, an extra stretch, a simplified bill, a daily ritual, can start to reshape how you feel about the years ahead. In the end, aging gracefully isn't about holding on to everything you once had. It's about standing steady with what you do have and realizing that within you lies more support, more power, and more peace than you may have ever known.